Hi, I'm Mark Demler, General Manager for Safe Security Systems, and I'm here today to talk about the shortcuts and the tips for installing your wireless carbon monoxide detector for your Safe at Home Links security system. First, let's open the box and take a look at the components that you should find inside the carbon monoxide detector as it is shipped. First, the detector itself comes with a small label about the listings and the warnings on here. It isn't designed to be left on the detector. You can take this off and read it. It does come with the manufacturer's instructions. I do recommend that you read those, spend a little time, even though we'll talk about the important high points on this video. And also in the box are the actual mounting screws and the mounting fasteners that will allow it to be mounted to the ceiling or the wall. Hold on to those and we'll use those in a little while. First step is understanding exactly what carbon monoxide is so we can determine how best to locate these and exactly what it is we're trying to detect. Carbon monoxide is an odorless, colorless gas, and it's a byproduct of any fuel burning appliance. So if you think of a natural gas stove, a dryer, or a heater, again, natural gas appliances, electrically driven appliances don't give off carbon monoxide. Oil-fired boiler for those that live in areas that have that, or oil-fired stoves. A wood-burning stove or a fireplace, certainly a barbecue, charcoal briquettes if you have an indoor barbecue. Essentially anything that has a flame is going to give off carbon monoxide. As far as locating the sensor itself, think of the areas where you as the customer are most at risk. Certainly when we're sleeping, we want to know of the existence of carbon monoxide. So a great place to install one of these is very central to your sleeping areas. Perhaps if you in the bedroom you have a fuel burning appliance, you should have one of these inside the bedroom itself. Certainly we recommend at the minimum, if you have a multi-floor house, you'll want one on each floor of the house. Again, ideally, the general industry rule of thumb is you'd like to have one of these in every room that has a fuel burning appliance. Let's talk about the areas to avoid, because there are some places where small accumulations of carbon monoxide do occur just in our day-to-day existence. For example, you wouldn't want to put one of these within 10 feet of a stove or a gas burning range. There are small products of combustion given off that could cause early false alarms, and we haven't reached a critical stage where we really need to know about it yet. You wouldn't want to put this within 10 feet of a fireplace, for example. I will also recommend that you keep them away from doors or windows or heat and air conditioning vents, because what happens there is you have a dilution of fresh air that will actually dilute the carbon monoxide, and you'll fail to pick up a building carbon monoxide problem that you might want to know about. The next step is actually to choose the physical mounting location. Once you've decided the best area to put it in, we recommend, as the manufacturer does, that these be mounted on a wall. It needs to be at least as high as the light switch, but less than 6 inches from the ceiling. And we try to keep it below ceiling level to have free airspace for the carbon monoxide to circulate so that we can pick it up. You can mount these on the ceiling, but you want to be 12 inches away from any wall, and that's for the same reason. Again, these corner areas where the wall and the ceiling come together tend to be stagnant, and carbon monoxide can't get into there to be detected. For the same reason, avoid corners as well. Be at least a couple of feet out from the corner. So when it comes to installing the device, you have two different components. You have the mounting head, which is actually the detector and the base. Simply rotate it counterclockwise about 5 degrees. You'll hear it snap and just separate the two pieces. You can set the actual detector head aside, and you can use the mounting base now as a template. Simply mark on the ceiling or the wall where your screw holes are going to go. You have your fasteners included in the supplied kit, the red anchors that you can push into sheetrock or plaster type of wall ceiling surfaces. You can actually just drill it with a small screwdriver, just dig a tiny hole out and push it in, and then turn the screws into the anchor. The anchor will spread out then and hold the unit to the wall. We don't recommend that you use an adhesive or a sticky back tape or something like that. These have a little weight and they'll tend to fall off the ceiling or the wall. You really want to use the anchors. If you're mounting it to a paneling or a wooden wall, certainly just use the screws right into the wall. At that point in time, you affix the base with the screw heads through the slots. Just rotate it slightly till the screw heads lock in place. You may want to cinch them down a little bit to tighten the detector against the wall of the ceiling, and essentially you've completed the first part of the mounting. The next step is just to apply the device, the actual head, and rotate it. You'll notice there is a slot on the mounting base, and that lines up with a tab or a slot on the detector head. You put it in, rotate it until it snaps, and you essentially have mounted your carbon monoxide detector. Now, before you complete that process, let's make sure that we power the device up. You'll notice that it comes with the battery already pre-installed, and there's this cardboard tab that interrupts the flow of current, keeps the device powered down. Simply pull that tab, make sure the battery remains seated. It's the last time you have to be inside the back of the unit. Be aware that it does have a tamper switch where my finger is pointing. That does engage with the back plate, so as long as you have the unit off the wall, the alarm control panel is going to see a trouble condition for this sensor. So drop that back in, and you snap it right into place as if it's on the wall. The installation of the device is then complete. The instructions, if you read the manufacturer's paperwork, talks about programming of the unit into your control panel, talks about enrolling it. We've done all of that for you, so it's programmed and it's ready to go as soon as you mount it and power it up. It's now communicating with your system. The normal condition for this is a flashing green light approximately once every 10 seconds. You'll know the unit is powered up. It's actually protecting you. Testing of the unit, if you look at the faceplate again, you see the red alarm trouble indicator. You see the green, and right now it's flashing a little more frequently because it's going through its startup cycle. That's perfectly normal for the first minute or so. You'll see the actual sensing chamber here, the grill. You'll see the sounder here that has the little shield over it. The part I want to call your attention to is actually the test port. That's actually a button down deep inside of there. So if time comes you want to test the detector, we recommend you do that at least semi-annually. You can use a very small fine screwdriver if you happen to have one, and you simply push it down in there until you engage the switch and then push it for 10 seconds, and that will cause the sensor to operate. Certainly a bobby pin, a paper clip that you unfold, anything down in there can do that. You can't damage the device in any way. Before you test the detector, as with any of our sensors, please make sure you call the central monitoring station for Safe at Home and let them know with your account number and your password that you're going to be testing your system. Go ahead and perform your test, silence your alarm panel and reset it, and then call the central station back and verify that they actually got the signals and all as well. And there we have it for installation and servicing of your Safe at Home carbon monoxide sensor.